11 bizarre people you won't believe exist. Many people are born and raised unlucky enough to have physical disabilities. In that situation, some people surrender to their fate, feel shame. On the contrary, there are many people who refuse to surrender to fate and live optimistically with life. Are you curious about them? In this video, let's discover 11 bizarre people you won't believe exist. Number 1. Michelle Lotito. Michelle Lotito had the ability to stuff her stomach with anything, even those that have nothing to do with food. He lived in Grenoble, France, and specializes in performing entertainment in nightclubs at home and abroad. Michelle Lotito ate everything from bicycles, razors, plastic, glass. His most luxurious meal was an airplane. However, television and bicycles were really frugal indulgences, occurring more often, and could even be identified as his indispensable daily rations. From 1966 to 2007, Michelle Lotito ate everything: an airplane, 18 bicycles, 7 TVs, 15 shopping carts in a supermarket, 2 beds, thousands of razor blades. His most remarkable achievement was recorded in the Guinness record for eating a Cessna 150 plane. On the surface, Lotito looked like any other man, except that he could eat potentially lethal things like heavy metals or glass. Lotito said to help metal foods pass safely through the digestive system, he broke them all into small pieces and drank a lot of mineral oil before swallowing. Meanwhile, he also added a large amount of water to the body to create a slippery layer in the digestive system. Ever since he was a child, the man born in 1950 showed an unusual ability when he began to eat non-nutritive objects and substances. Doctors discovered that Michelle Lotito's digestive system had a unique elasticity. The lining of the stomach and intestines was thicker than usual. It may be for this reason that the consumption of non-nutrients did not threaten Michelle Lotito's health. The people of the world called him a mutant with an iron mouth, and he passed away at the age of 57, not because he ate metal, but died from nature. Number 2. Mohammad Latif Khatna. Mohammad Latif Khatna, from the Kashmir region in northwest India, cannot see or work because his face is increasingly disfigured. When he was born, Latif had a lump on his face, and the bigger it got, the more it grew, forming patches of sagging flesh. Latif is the youngest child in a family of 2 brothers and 3 sisters. However, he is the only one suffering from this strange disease. He was friendless in his childhood and was often bullied, and although he was healthy, as an adult he could not find a job due to the loss of his eyesight and his peculiar face. Latif's parents tried to find him a wife, but it was only when Latif met Salima, who had only one leg, that the dream came true. "We're both flawed and we make up for it," he said. The couple's wedding ceremony was held in 2008, and since then they have lived very happily. Latif's biggest concern is whether his soon-to-be child will inherit the monstrous disease from his father. He said his family could not afford to go to the doctor, and no one had ever advised him not to have children. Now he and his wife can only hope and pray for the baby to be born healthy. As for him, Latif lamented, "If surgery is done now, it will be very dangerous because in those tumors there are a lot of blood vessels. I have lost all hope of being cured. I will have to live in this state forever." Number 3. Muhammad Kaleem. In 2014, people in India in particular and the whole world in general could not help but be surprised and mourn for 8-year-old Muhammad Kaleem, who had the world's largest hands. Muhammad lives with his parents in a small village in the state of Jharkhand in eastern India. Since birth, he has had unusually large hands and arms. The weight of these organs has weighed up to 13 kilograms as of 2014. With the world's largest hands, the boy is often bullied by his friends, and even worse, the school refused to admit him to school because they thought his unusually large hands, quote, scare other children. Not only that, the villagers also derided and criticized his family because they were very superstitious. Many people speculated that Kaleem's giant hand was the result of a curse and nicknamed the boy, quote, son of the devil. In daily life, Muhammad Kaleem faces many difficulties at work, such as eating, bathing, dressing, etc. Although his son has a rare disease, his parents cannot afford to take him to medical treatment with their meager salary. Until 2014, when the international media reported the case of the boy with the world's largest hands, the case was helped by some medical experts in South India who diagnosed it as macrodactyly, also known as the symptom of overgrown hands. In the same year, 2014, her family was introduced to Dr. Raja Sabapathy from Tamil Nadu state. He's a leading expert in hand surgery and known for his macrosurgery technique. Doctors and a team of specialists have successfully reduced the boy's hands. Number 4. Michelle Raffanelli. Michelle Raffanelli lives in Los Angeles, USA. She has 2.4 meters of hip with a body weight of 190 kilograms and a height of 1.52 meters. Michelle Raffanelli consumes about 3,000 calories a day, but she has no intention of losing weight. Her third round began to feel, quote, obscene since she gave birth to her third child. Michele Raffanelli said that although she applied many reasonable eating measures, she still could not stop the growth of her buttocks, making her buttocks bigger and bigger. Currently, she is very proud of her current body because it does not affect her health. She said what she fears the most is that every time she goes out, it is a problem by any means. Michele Raffanelli's husband is the only one who has always been by her side during her third round of quote promotion. Her husband also often organizes vacations at the beach with his wife. Michele Raffanelli said she's researching issues related to obesity to help subjects at risk of having a big hip like her. Number 5. Kim Goodman. Kim Goodman, living in Chicago, Illinois, USA, discovered the ability to flexibly change eyeballs at a young age. During a Halloween party, an incident happened that caused her eyeball to protrude far away. Since that day, she has discovered her own interesting abilities. Kim Goodman set a Guinness World Record in 1997, becoming the woman with the farthest protruding eyeball since then, and that feat has never been shaken. With her exciting abilities, she has traveled the world performing and appearing on various television shows. At least she has set foot in 5 countries. Kim Goodman's eyeballs can flexibly protrude in and out, and this woman can fully take the initiative with those eyes. Kim Goodman said, "I didn't use any tricks or transformations, it was a natural ability. A lot of people asked me if it hurt to do so. Indeed, if it hurt, I wouldn't do it. My eyes don't dry out, so I'm not afraid of them getting stuck." Photos of Kim Goodman's strange eyes, shared a lot on social networks, attracted the attention of netizens. Many people feel scared because of their bulging eyes like crab eyes. Some people even feel that Kim Goodman's eyes are about to fall out of their eyes. Biologically, because of its neural connectivity, it is difficult to pop the eyeball out of the orbit completely. However, controlling the eyeball's protrusion out of the eye socket did not affect Kim's eyesight or health. Number 6. Victoria Wright. When Victoria Wright was 4 years old, her mother suddenly discovered a problem with her daughter's jawbone while she was brushing her teeth. Victoria's teeth was strangely when they were out of place. Immediately, Victoria was taken to the hospital for examination. Doctors diagnosed her with cherubism, also known as fibrous dysplasia of the jaw. The fibrous tissue in the face began to deform, causing Victoria's face to become abnormal. Doctors had assumed this would only happen after puberty, but it was too soon for Victoria. To relieve pressure on her eyes, Victoria underwent surgery, but the headaches came more often because her eyesight had deteriorated. As she got older, Victoria's condition worsened. Excess tissue makes the chin feel heavy. This strange disease caused Victoria to suffer from eye strain, jaw pain, and headaches. Plastic surgery was quite dangerous because doctors cannot guarantee whether her disease will return or not. Victoria spent her youth filled with ridicule. She was ridiculed by her friends. At school, some seniors even threatened to punch Victoria. However, Victoria is energetic, optimistic, and open-minded. She thinks that just because people stare at her doesn't mean they're making fun of her. Victoria tried her best to develop her other abilities. She founded her own blog to share her thoughts and inspire people to live. Number 7. Larry and Danny Ramos Gomez. Victor Larry and Gabriel Danny Ramos Gomez were born into a famous Mexican fur family. Since ancient times, this family has had 5 generations with the quote super hair disease, which counts about 20 people, both boys and girls. Larry and Danny are famous throughout the circus with the nickname Wolf Cub and their acrobatics, springs, and magic tricks. Larry and Danny's grandfather was completely normal. Larry's son is also unharmed, while Danny's 6-year-old daughter is miserable with the same hair as her father and uncle. Since ancient times, the legend of the hairy man has been concocted by people in many different cultures. Medieval writers wrote a lot about people covered from head to toe, living in the deep forests and specializing in eating plants, flowers, and raw meat. It was not until the end of the 19th century that modern medicine began to learn about these bizarre people. Except for the growth of the coat, these people are in good health and have a normal lifespan. However, human knowledge about hyperhairy disease is still very limited. Number 8. Gary Turner. Gary Turner was born in 1971 in Caister, Lincolnshire, UK. From an early age, he was aware of the difference in his super tight skin. Gary's uncle demonstrated his quote skill of stretching on Gary's own skin to friends when the boy was only 4 years old. Based on the reactions of people around him, Gary understood the abnormality that he possessed. During his school days, Gary enjoyed playing sports, but he struggled with injuries. And if he were accidentally cut, Gary would lose so much blood that many people might think he was attacked by a shark. Doctors finally discovered the reason for his symptoms when he was 13 years old. Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, a rare genetic disease that affects 1 in every 10,000 people. Believe it or not, Gary was able to stretch his skin to unbelievable lengths due to a rare condition. The skin on this man's neck can stretch so much that it almost covers half of his face. This condition occurs when the collagen that normally strengthens the skin and determines its elasticity is impaired. As a result, it can loosen the skin. Fortunately for Gary, his condition is not too serious. In many cases, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome has caused blood vessel rupture or worse, death. Anywhere there is a lot of skin, such as the belly, neck, arms, etc. on Gary's body, it can be stretched. The hands and feet are the only parts that are not very flexible. The stretch is completely painless, but other aspects of the syndrome are very painful, such as joint pain. Gary's abilities became widely known in 1999 when he showed off his exotic skin with a Guinness World Record in front of a studio audience. Number 9. Kathy Young. The person with the smallest bust in the world is Kathy Young, born in 1937 and living in Connecticut, USA. Mrs. Kathy Young's waist is completely natural. She never wanted surgery to have a small waist, even though her husband is an orthopedic surgeon. It's hard to believe that a woman with 3 children has such a tiny waist. She is recognized as the woman with the smallest waist in the world. In 1983, she regularly wore a corset, a small tight shirt, for 23 hours a day and only took it off in the shower. 12 years later, she achieved her wish to have a waistline of 38 centimeters when she was officially recognized by the Guinness Book of World Records. Number 10. Mandy Sellers. Despite having a small upper body, Mandy Sellers, a 40-year-old woman in the UK, possesses huge legs, weighing nearly 108 kilograms. Right from birth, Mandy Sellers' legs were 5 times bigger than those of other babies. Her left leg is longer than her right leg by 7.6 centimeters. The doctor feared that she would never be able to walk again. This congenital quote giant disease caused the skin, bones, tissues, and fat in Mandy's lower body to grow oversized. Mandy's body has a rather strange shape when the upper body is small like a normal person and the lower body is as big as someone else's legs. While the doctors are completely bewildered by Mandy's strange illness, she's still trying to live a normal life. She went to school, went to college, and decided to study psychology at the University of Central Lancashire. In 2010, Mandy's leg weighed 108 kilograms and showed signs of infection. Doctors recommend amputation of the infected leg, and hopefully that can also prevent abnormal tissue growth. But even after one of her legs was amputated, the amputee continued to enlarge. In 2 years, the amputee weighed 19 kilograms and was 1 meter in circumference. Mandy's strange disease has caught the attention of scientists at Cambridge University. DNA test results show that she has Proteus syndrome. In addition, the analysis also revealed that Mandy had a particular disorder. It was not until 2012 that doctors informed Mandy that her legs were abnormally developed because of a mutated PIK3CA gene in her body. Mandy said she felt so happy and relieved to know what was happening to her body. After 2 years of using the experimental drug, Mandy's legs have reduced by 38 kilograms, making everyday tasks like walking or dressing easier. Currently, Mandy still has to order pants and shoes in huge sizes and uses a special car to get around. The doctors aren't sure if her legs will continue to grow, but Mandy is optimistic. Number 11. Wang Fang. Born with strange legs, Wang Fang, living in Chongqing, China, made doctors unable to hide their surprise and admiration for her resilience. Wang Fang is a girl in her 30s with a congenital leg deformity. Her feet are not like of normal people, but rotate 180 degrees backward. However, she still leads a normal life. Wang said she can walk like everyone else, even running faster than most of her friends. She's currently working as a waitress at a family restaurant. Therefore, she's always confident in herself and never considers herself a disabled person. It is noted Wang has a son. The boy does not have the same birth defect as his mother. That is all the information about the 11 bizarre people in the world. Do you know any other strange cases? Please leave your comment below and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Goodbye for now and see you in the next videos on our channel.